is human resource management? What human resource items should I know? This presentation provides a basic introduction to human resource management. Let's get started. Organizations use a myriad of terms to refer to members of their workforce. Disney has its cast. Walmart employees are their associates. Target has team members. Other organizations use terms such as human resources and human capital. While these terms used by companies may vary, we use the term employees to refer to the individuals who work for an organization. We use the term line manager or manager to refer to individuals who are responsible for supervising and directing the efforts of a group of employees to perform tasks that are directly related to the creation and delivery of a company's product or services. For many years, line managers had the responsibility for most, if not all, aspects of managing employees. Throughout this presentation, we'll use the term human resource practices. We refer to human resource practices as the responsibilities of the human resource department of an organization. It's what the HR function does to deliver its strategic objectives. As more employment-related laws have been passed, many companies began to assign much of the responsibility for employee management to the human resource department, a support function within companies that serves a vital role in designing and implementing policies and managing employees. Over time, the role of HR departments has expanded to include a wide variety of tasks and activities, including record keeping, payroll, total rewards, retirement, selection, recruitment, training, performance management, and regulatory issues. This exhibit shows that strategic management of employees centers around three categories of HR activities, which occur in the context of three main HR challenges. The primary HR activities are workforce design and workforce planning, which is designing jobs and planning the workforce needed to achieve organizational goals. Managing employee competencies, which is identifying, acquiring, and developing employee talent and skills. And managing employee attitude and behaviors, which is encouraging and motivating employees to perform in appropriate ways to contribute to company goals. Managers carry out these three primary HR activities in the context of three main HR challenges: organizational demands, which are internal factors including strategy, company characteristics, organizational culture, and employee concerns; environmental issues, which are external in factors including labor market trends, globalization, technology, ethics, and social responsibility; and finally, regulatory issues, a small subgroup of environmental influences that includes federal, state, local legislation that protects the rights of individuals and the organization within regards to the employment process. This exhibit highlights the three HR activities. First, companies must decide how to design jobs and ensure that employees are where they need to be to meet organizational goals. Second, companies must ensure that employees have the competencies they need to perform those jobs. Third, employees must be motivated to use their competencies productively. Job design involves deciding what employees will do on a day-to-day basis, as well as how jobs are interconnected. There are many different ways to design jobs. Some employees work on an assembly line, while others work in self-managed teams, and still others work in relative isolation. Managers may design similar jobs in different ways at different companies. No one design solution fits all. Some questions managers need to consider for job design are: what tasks should you emphasize when designing a job? How simple or complex are the tasks? How many tasks can your employees perform, and how much flexibility do you provide your employees in how they carry out those tasks? These choices are important in the job design process and will be highlighted through job analysis and job documentation. The number of employees in different parts of an organization is ever-changing. Workforce planning is a challenging and complex process of ensuring the right people are doing the right work at the right time. Some of the important decisions in workforce planning are: how would you address a labor shortage or surplus? When should you require current employees to work overtime versus hiring additional staff? When should you outsource work rather than hire new employees? And what can you do to minimize the negative effects of downsizing? A primary HR activity for managers is ensuring that employees have the necessary competencies to effectively perform their tasks. Competencies are the knowledge, skills, abilities, and other talents that employees possess. These competencies directly influence the types of jobs employees are able to perform. Managing competencies means recruiting and selecting the right people and training them to succeed in their jobs. Recruitment refers to the process of gathering a qualified pool of potential employees interested in working for your company or encouraging individuals within your company to pursue other positions. The challenge with recruitment is having a clear understanding of the competencies needed to succeed in a job and designing a strategy for identifying individuals in the labor market who possess those competencies and who would be a good match for the organization culture and goals. Whereas recruitment focuses on gathering a qualified pool of candidates for job openings, selection focuses on choosing the best person from that pool. As with recruitment, there are a number of important questions to consider when deciding among candidates. Each job candidate brings a unique blend of knowledge, skills, and abilities. Perhaps the most critical issue to address is whether the candidate possesses the competencies that you've identified as most important for a particular job. Learning and development ensures that new and current employees know the ins and outs of the organization and have the skills they need to succeed now and in the future. Training is part of learning and development. Even when companies successfully hire employees that have a great deal of potential, the employee is still likely to need training, depending on organizational needs. Employees also need to learn about the organization itself, its culture, and the general way it operates. Beyond new hires, many other situations warrant training for both new and current employees. Beyond training for the needs of a particular job, companies also engage in training activities to develop individuals for future positions. This is training and development. Building competencies is critical, but keep in mind it's only part of the equation. How well employees perform is a function of the effort they expend as well as their competencies. Encouraging the right employee attitudes and behaviors requires motivating workers to continually improve their performance. When managers clearly communicate performance criteria, employees are more likely to have a good understanding of the steps they need to achieve successful job performance. When these criteria are aligned with organizational goals, managers and employees become more confident that what they're focusing their efforts on are important activities. Effective performance management focuses on providing employees with feedback, both positive and negative, and using employee development activities to improve current and future performance. Perhaps most importantly, effective performance management means helping employees understand how to continually improve. There's no single best performance management system. The most appropriate system depends on the unique context of each organization. A company's compensation system exerts a strong influence on the attitudes and behaviors of employees because it sends a message regarding the employee's value to the company. Some of the key questions when designing great compensation systems are: what factors should we consider when determining a salary range for a job? What is the best way to determine how much employees should be paid? How much of the pay should be guaranteed and how much should be based on incentives? What types of incentives should we use to encourage positive employee attitudes and behavior? Benefits also influence employee attitudes and behaviors. Organizations offer benefits in an attempt to help recruit, select, and retain employees. Benefits practices may ensure the health and well-being of a company's workforce. Some critical issues to consider are: which benefit programs are most important for our workforce? What are the legal requirements regarding our benefits programs? And how can we ensure safety in the workplace? Each of the 3 HR activities described is critical, but none is effective in isolation. Work design and workforce planning, managing employee competencies, and encouraging the right employee attitudes and behaviors must align with each other to be effective. When we discuss alignment, we're describing the extent to which the 3 HR activities are designed to achieve the goals of the organization. Alignment can be broken down into 2 parts, both internal and external alignment. As shown here, to achieve internal alignment, you must first make sure the specific practices used within each HR activity are consistent with one another, as well as aligned across the primary HR activities. If you've ever been on a sports team, you know how important it is for all participants to have a common understanding of how to play the game, the skills required, and the desire to win. That's the same thing we're talking about here. If employees know the goals of the organization and are motivated to work towards those goals, but do not possess all of the competencies to do so, the results will be diminished employee performance and reduced organizational productivity. If employees possess all the competencies they need to know, but they lack motivation, their contributions to the organization will be limited. If employees are capable and motivated, but are limited in what they can do, or are short-handed due to inappropriate or poor job design or workforce planning, their contributions will be limited as well. In addition to internal alignment, you must also achieve external alignment by ensuring the three primary HR activities work in concert with one another, as well as the HR challenges that companies face.